We're gonna start with the Healing Dog Tabletop Fundamentals with Champions, the complete 6th edition. Now, the hero system is what this is based off of, and the hero system prides itself on its ability to mold itself into whatever you need, whatever genre you want. The hero system can accommodate you. Now they have specific lines like Champions that already mold toward that genre for you. You don't have to do the work. The work is already done. Champions is, as you couldn't tell by the picture, is a superhero adventure model. So all of the stuff is molded toward a comic book type bent. So they've done the heavy lifting, well, half the heavy lifting for you, and now you can just jump into a superhero campaign of any power level that you want. You want galactic power level, you can do that. You want Batman or the mystery power level, you got that too. So it's up to you in the game master how you want to play it. Now let's talk about the publication and publisher and such. The publication, this thing's gone through 6 editions. I'm working off the 6th edition for this review. I own the 4th edition. Max Liao owns the 5th, and I believe Garthon owns 4th or 5th as well. And 1st, 2nd, and 3rd were before my time into getting into multiple gaming systems, so I don't actually have any of those. Publisher, of course, Hero Games. And the price, for the 6th edition, you can get the PDF for $20 from their website. You can get the softcover black and white book for $40. And if you can find it on eBay, you're a better person than I am, because I couldn't find it. Not this specific book. I could find your basic 6th edition Hero Games system that isn't already, written toward the superhero genre, but I couldn't find the Champions book, complete with the rules and everything. Now they have a Champions guide to the hero system, where you have to buy the main hero system book and then buy the guide. This one is both those things rolled into one, so it's everything you need under one deal. Cregan, Ron Edwards is doing an update of the 1st through 3rd edition Champions as Champions now on Kickstarter now. Well, cool. That's great. Later on, you can tell us why he chose 1st through 3rd edition Champions instead of 4th, 5th, or 6th. I don't know.
It is interesting that 1st through 3rd editions are all made within a 4-year period.
That is true. Complex. Yeah, it's like 81 1st edition. No, we got to fix that. 82 is like, no, that's not okay. 3rd edition, great. Okay, that lasted a little longer. 4th edition came out. Okay, no, this is it. This is all we need right here, and that lasted for 3 years. And then 5th edition came out, but that lasted 8 years before 6th edition. So it's possible that the 5th and 6th edition differences are just cosmetic. Because for something that to stay along for that long, seems like it was working, and but whatever. We're going 6th edition today, so we're good. Now let's start this thing off. Now, what's great about this system is all the powers are so generic. You have the ability to make them however you want. Literally anything you want to do, you can do in the hero system. Now, I chose Champions because you really get to see this come to life in a super heroic setting. 6th edition is very solid. There you go. And for example, see, every power is very generic. There is ranged attack, hand-to-hand attack. Okay. That's it.
That's the description.
That's the description of the power. Now it has a different sections for customizing those powers. You get special effects for free, like electrical, darkness, wind. Yeah, this is a ranged attack, but it's an electrical ranged attack. This is a ranged attack, but it's a wind. It's like a wind knife. Yeah, it's a ranged killing attack. Woo! And then you get the power attributes, the perceivability. Perceivability is how obvious is it that the power is happening, and how obvious is it that it's coming from you, or how obvious is that it's coming from, say, an item you have. Like if you're a modern day wizard and you have an enchanted necklace and you have to touch it and close your eyes and it glows when the power goes off. Well, it's obvious that the powers come from the necklace. Or are you Professor X mentalist and nothing is obvious about this? Nothing. It's all invisible, all in the mind. And then duration. Is it instant? Is it persistent? or is it maintainable in some other way? Does it have a set duration? Do you have to concentrate on it, or does it just happen like a fireball or something like that? Okay, great. Then you have power modifiers. These are additions to the power that make it more effective. And of course, it makes it cost more in character generation. But for if you buy a range killing attack, which is a machine gun, you can have the bullets be armor piercing. And so only half of your opponent's armor will be effective against your attack. Or you can have a hole in the middle. Hole in the middle is very cool if you have a zero range explosion power. A zero range explosion power is usually not a good idea because you're in the middle of this explosion. But if your power has a hole in the middle, everything standing around you is fine. Everything else gets blown up. Which is funny. If you're like the bad guy bomber calls himself the mad terrorist or something.
That would be a bad thing too. You just accidentally make your character wrong, and the first time you use your power, and you're like, "Oh shoot, I forgot."
Yeah, the game master didn't tell you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, you're a walking reusable suicide bomber. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have power limitations. These are things that make the power less effective, but it gives you back character points, so it makes them cheaper. One of these is increased endurance. Now, endurance is a stat, kind of like endurance is in real life. The more you use it, the more you run out of it. You get tired, you can't run anymore. Well, powers, punches, running, flying, they all have some kind of endurance drain. All right. If power has increased endurance, using this power gives a much more significant drain per usage than normal. Or
I've noticed some games that when you select power limitations, is it kind of like you're getting more points to spend elsewhere?
You're getting more points to spend elsewhere or on the same power.
Okay.
You can get more dice for damage if you limit your energy blast and put the savings back into the very same energy blast.
I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Or you can have charges. Now, back with my armor piercing in the power modifiers. Let's say you have a clip, six round clip. That means you have 6 bullets in this thing. After you shoot those 6 bullets, you have to stop and reload. And usually when a power is like this, you have, if you have 6 charges, it's 6 charges per day. All right, so let's move it up to 30 charges. All right, 30 charges. After the 30 charges is done, that's like maybe for a handgun, that's going to be several clips. After that, you're out. You're out of ammo. But the good thing is, none of these things cost any endurance because they're bullets. They're bought in charges instead. Now, 30 charges is actually a power advantage, but 1 charge is a severe power limitation. You get a 66% off on what it costs to get this power in character generation because you can use it once a day. An example would be if you've seen Iron Man, where he has his little 1-shot laser thing that cuts through anything on his gauntlet, where after he uses it, he just has to pop it out and it's done. That is 1 charge. He has 1 charge per day, but because of that, it is severely powerful because all of the savings were put right back into the same power. It's like that. And it doesn't end there. You also can have power frameworks. In 4th edition, they had 3 basic power frameworks. In 6th edition, they have 2. Now, what this allows you to do is group powers together that are from a similar source or have a similar special effect and get a discount on all of the powers. For example, I get all of my powers from a power ring, or from a utility belt, or from some kind of super bow, or they're all fire-based, or they're all wind-based, or ice-based, or whatever. They're similar. You can group them together to get a discount. Now, what are the 2 power frameworks we're working with here? One is a multi-power. You have a pool of points that can be distributed between several powers. Each power can be reassigned as a no phase action, which means there's once per turn you can assign your pool of available percentage of power to several different powers. For example, the Green Lantern power ring. He can create constructs, force fields, body armor, scanning things, flight, regular flight, and superluminal flight, FTL flight. He can power 4 out of these 6 at full power at a time. Okay, so he has to choose 4 powers to power at every turn. He can't power them all at once. He can only power some of them some of the time. He can't power them all. He can only power some of them all the time, and all of them none of the time. But because of that limitation, he gets a drastic reduction in the price of all the powers. The other is a variable power pool. You can use a pool to fuel your powers just like multi-power, but you can allocate between maximum power and minimum power, each power separately. So you could theoretically be using all powers at once, but none of them at maximum potential. Now, the problem with this is if you do this during combat, and I swear to you, I looked through this book 3 times, it does not disallow you to make changes inside combat. It will drastically slow down your gameplay because you got this one guy constantly recalculating like 10 powers during his turn. You might as well go take a 10-minute nap, all right? Every time he does this. So if I were a game master, I would say no, in combat you cannot reallocate powers. You get what you get, and that's it. But that's me. What else we have? Okay, skills. In a lot of role-playing games, early edition Earth Dawn, first and second edition, and advanced Dungeons and Dragons, skills were not very useful. They had them. They weren't, good in the game, really. I mean, they were flavor. That was it. It's like wasting points on flavor. This is not. Skills here are great out of the gate. Garthon has played 5th edition. I knew you had 4th or 5th. He hasn't played 6th. 4th and 5th and 6th, from what I understand, are not that different. But 4th and 6th is a little bit different. Yeah, a variable power pool should really only be used by experienced players, and I agree with you on that. Now, there you go. There's a long list of skills. I was really surprised. For example, first edition Earth Dawn, outside of skills that were copies of talents, the skill list was pretty marginal. Not a whole lot going on there. But this has, a couple of dozen skills out of the gate that are really good, and it gives some framework for building your own skills. If there's a skill there that you need but don't have, you and the game master can make up for it. For example, my example here, you built an alien character, and he has a vehicle that he landed on the planet with because he's an alien, so he's from another planet, so he's got a vehicle. But this has a special operator function where you have to operate with your mind. You have to plug yourself in and operate with your mind. You need the skill machine empathy that is based on your ego. You can build that skill very easily. And now, boom, there you have it. But now the skill exists. Other people can learn it. So there you are. Now, your base skill level, 90% of the time, you start off with a better than 50-50 chance to succeed, which is unheard of in most skill-based systems. You start off with an 11 or less activation. Now, the way they use activation, the way they use rolls here, you take 3d6. You want to roll as low as possible. On this 3d6, if you roll a total of 11 or less, the skill functions. So think about that. 4, 4, and 3 is 11. 4, 4, and 3 is better than 50% chance that the skill is going to function properly. Now, you can use character points to increase this activation number. Anywhere from 1 to 3 character points will increase the activation number by 1. So you spend 1 to 3 character points depending on the complexity of the skill, and that 11 minus will go to a 12, then to a 13, then to a 14. Now, you can go above 18, even though rolling all 6s is going to be an automatic failure. You can get a 21 minus if you want. That 21 minus will still be effectual because you will use it to take off situational modifiers like you're hanging upside down or you're being shot at or whatever. That's going to give you modifiers to your roll, and those extra beyond 17 are going to eat those modifiers away for you. Garthon, I want to take a look at the Champions Now Kickstarter. Oh yeah, Cregan is pushing the Kickstarter. It's a version 1 through 3. And of course, every man's skills are free, and this is really cool. This is what I really like about this game. Now, some other games do this too, but this game really does it well, because usually you get crap for stuff you really should know by heart, like say local geography. You should have that down. Basic mathematics. If you grew up in 21st century USA, then you have basic mathematics down. Your native language, you have that fluent, including literacy, down. And they give you, I swear, the example skills for a 21st century high school graduate is something like almost a dozen skills you get for free. Most between an 8 minus or an 11 minus activation. And all these skills are useful in your everyday life, including your superhero life. They can be useful. So, amazing. So far, looking great. And then there's the rub. Then combat starts, and everything gets weird.
What's actually more amazing is that you actually have useful skills after high school. That's kind of a new thing.
Oh, that's cute. Well, you have to. Hey, I have still useful skills that I learned in the military.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right. Now here's how combat goes. First, you have to calculate the OCV, the offensive combat value of the attacker. Now it's a base of 3 and +1 to that 3 per 5 character points spent. Then you determine the base OCV. Now it's usually the characteristic I just said. You add any applicable skill levels. Now a skill level is you train specifically hard with the weapon you're using, or just punching a bag every day you've trained. Let's say, okay, you write that down. Now, any modifiers for your particular weapon. If you have a staff, then you have reach. You get modifier to hit because of reach. Okay. Any modifiers for a particular combat or martial maneuver. Are you trained martial artist in this weapon or hand-to-hand attack? Yes or no? That's going to also augment your OCV. Now, any combat modifiers. Is it dark? Is it too bright? Is it foggy? Having trouble seeing? Stuff like that. Okay. Apply the range modifier, if applicable. I mean, if you're using punching or a hand-to-hand weapon, if you're not in front of him, it's not going to work. But if you're using a ranged weapon, how far away is he? Well, the further away, the more range modifier you get. Okay, do that. Now apply any other modifiers the GM decides is appropriate. Okay. Now apply any modifiers that have your OCV. Now these are a specific set of modifiers that, if yes, they half your OCV. Now, even if you qualify for several of these modifiers, only the most damaging one is applied. You don't apply all of them. Now, you calculate the DCV of the defender, which is the same as OCV, a base of 3 plus 1 for every 5 character points you put into it. And then you take the attacker's OCV that we've gone through all these modifiers for, plus 11, have them roll the 3d6, take that away, and that is the DCV they can hit. Now, you do that every time you attack. Now, if you're attacking the same person over and over and they're not changing range and you're not changing weapon, then you don't have to recalculate anything. Now, I want to throw out there that number one, after having read all that, I'm a little dizzy. And number two, it actually says in the book, this may look difficult, but in play, it's fine.
Oh,
if you have to say that,
good.
you lost. You're done it wrong. If you have to reassure people that what they're reading is not a long, drawn-out process, you should have changed the process. All right? And it gets better. It gets better.
Like you had to change the font size just to get that list to fit on one slide.
Exactly. I did. I had to change the font size to get that all to fit. That is one attack. Now, let's see some of the stuff. Here's the initiative chart. Now, it's good for the most part, but they screw it up at the end. Now, this is based on speed. Speed is a base of 2 plus 1 per 10 character points spent. Now, there are 12 segments per turn. And then you find your speed on the chart on the chart on the left, and you find what segment you are on the top, and you take a line, and if it meets in a hero symbol, you get to go that turn, or that segment. If it does not, you do not get to go. Seems straightforward, right? Ties go to whoever higher dex. If two people have the same dex, they roll off with that formula that you see down there. Dex divided by 5 plus 9 minus 3d6. Highest result wins. Now, after the
Right.
first round, this thing is completely straightforward. I mean, after the first turn, this thing is completely straightforward. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone knows how they go. Everyone knows the order. Everyone rolled off already. And you're good to go. But they killed the uniformity for the lowering your speed mechanic. You can voluntarily lower your speed before a round starts so you can change where your actions fall in the chart. That means every turn you might have to re-roll off. You're going to have to reallocate where everyone goes, when everyone goes, because someone decided to lower their speed. That means that this thing could be bogged down before every turn, every single time. I don't like it.
It took me a while to figure out the pattern. So it's just character speed per 12 segments, 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Now, a significant difference between 4th and 6th edition is that 4th edition, if you had a speed of 1, you didn't go on 7, you went on 12. So you went last. But in 6th edition, you go on 7, which I think is nice. For those people who got a speed of 1 for some reason. Even though you start with a 2. Maybe you got hobbled or something, I don't know. Oh, and it gets even better. Here's the language chart.
Yay. Oh god, I'll look at this one.
Yeah, this language chart. It's supposed to make it easier to get skills. As you can see, there's big black borders. There's roundy gray boxes. There's thin gray sharp boxes. There's thin gray round boxes. All of these are important because it comes with a chart. Now this chart, if it's a thin box rounded corners, it's considered an overlapping language, and you get a minus in the number of character points you need to learn it, as long as you learn one of the language previously. Like for example, if you know Latvian and you want to learn Lithuanian, you have a thick box rounded corners. Having 2 or more character points in any language in the group allows the group to be bought at a -1 character point. So you can learn the other language for a cheaper cost. Great. What if you have a thick box or thin box square corners? Well, you get a -1 to learning it. What if you have a thick box square corners, and that's no cost or benefit? That's stuff that doesn't have anything. Like those are the really, really big boxes, the really big black edged boxes, right? There are no similarities between things outside these boxes, so you get no bonus, no penalty. But what if it's not in a box at all? It's dissimilar to everything, and everything costs more. So, for example, learning Ancient Mayan. Doesn't matter what language you knew before, Ancient Mayan is different than everything, so you get a penalty. Finnish is some strange alien language, but where is it at in here? I can't find it. I'm having trouble finding it. It should be up there, but I can't find it. Danish, Norwegian, Swedish. It should be up here. Huh.
Well, if they were alphabetical, that would probably help you find
it. Would, but no, they're not alphabetical. They're put into root language similarities.
Yep.
So it wouldn't be alphabetical. But Japanese and Korean, if you know any other language besides Japanese or Korean, you don't know nothing. It's actually harder to learn Japanese if you learn any other language first.
Now, would you call this a necessary complication to the game?
No, this is an unnecessary complication. Now,
absolutely.
Here's the problem, okay? Here's the problem that I found with the system. The problem is getting the greatest customability, whatever, that you can find in a game lends itself to this convoluted nonsense. I mean, it has to be. You can't have the customization on one side and have ease of gameplay on the other. I've never seen it done effectively. All right? Now, other games don't have as much customization, therefore they don't have as much clunky gameplay. But this one has amazing amounts of customization, so it has amazing amounts of clunky gameplay. Now, some people are going to say that after a while you get the hang of it, don't worry. But again, if you have to say that, something's wrong with your system. So while I love making characters in Champions, it takes hours. It does. to put your vision on paper. But at the end, unlike many other role-playing systems, it's exactly what's going to be on paper. Your vision, perfectly in your head, is your character in real life now. He's beautifully done, rendered perfectly in art form on this character sheet. But playing him is going to be a rough process. You have to learn to live with that. And that's it. Oh, Legion of Myth is online. I don't know who Legion of Myth is on doing that. But...
No, I'm typing in.
Oh, that's you? Okay. All right. But that is my basic overview of the Champions 6th Edition Complete Hero System set. Now, if you want me to go through this character generation or go through example gameplay and you're interested to see how this works, then hey, go ahead and throw it in chat. You're watching this YouTube, throw it in the comments below, and I will do so. I mean, to be fair, character generation is going to take more than one segment because it's going to take a while, but that's the way it goes, you know? That's the way it is. Sorry. But that's what we have. That's my segment. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You can see more of me, the Heathen Dogma, on YouTube, the anime and RPG segments, and team up with Garthon on Warframe and Star Trek Online, and all of my past streams where I go through all of the content for Star Trek Online as Buck Fats McCool. That's in character, by the way. I role-played that character. And I'll be reviving him very soon because come June 5th, that's in 3 days, they're going to have 5 more levels of content. So I'll be dusting off the McCool, and he'll be flying the skies again, the new Delta Quadrant content. And of course, you can see me on Monopoly Plus, where I win and lose, both beautifully and horrendously. And of course, playing this War of Mine, where I tear my hair out, and at the end, win fantastically. And playing Amnesia, Dark Descent, and A Machine for Pigs, thank you, Baldahar, and Outlast Whistleblower, you want to hear me scream like a little girl, that's where it's at. And of course, my stream for Monday, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting for Portal 2 to go on sale so I can play with Elgarian here. So I don't want to play Portal anymore. Too. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to eeny meeny miny moe a game that I've played before, or maybe Elgarian can give me a bargain bin game that I can buy and play.
Yeah. Maybe we can even find a little mini co-op game or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Oh, I will be playing Portal 2. It's gonna go on sale in June during the Steam summer sale. It's gonna be half off, and I'm gonna buy it, and then Elgarian and I are gonna play it. Probably Friday nights.
Yeah.
Probably Friday nights.
I never got to play the co-op mission, so I'm really looking forward to that.
It's gonna be cool. Now, speaking of it's gonna be cool, let's check out the Elgarian Cinema Review. Star Wars: The Definitive Ranking. Take it away.
So I've